say, God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
After last week at Old Atlanta, we saw the points tighten up tremendously here in the QSR Xfinity Series. And here we are again in the desert to roll the dice one last time. Live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, it's the QSR Simulations Xfinity Series live on Vspeed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper. Jake Reeves out of the booth tonight. Much needed vacation for him. Had some things going on. So I will be your production and lead commentary here tonight for this event. 21 cars scheduled to race this race here tonight. We actually have 23 in the field. We'll have to wait and see some of these drivers getting set to grid now. But after last week, Daniel Molnex, Caleb Nelson, they tie in the points. Coming up on your screen now, these drivers, very tight gap all the way back to fourth place, Jared Ziegler. Kevin West works his way with another podium finish up into the top three. It's getting tighter and tighter every week here at QSR Xfinity Series. This week should be no different, as well as we're on the mile and a half, the cookie cutter intermediates. For the rest of the remainder of this season, we started out with Infineon, or Sears Point, and here we are tonight. At another mile and a half, we will have one more after this week at Kansas. Well, we're getting set to grid right now as it sits, so let's get that information coming at you on the screen. Race analysis on the left-hand side. 90 laps here today, 45 mile per hour. Speed limit on pit road, 4 tire sets available, and as always, 100% fuel on the iRacing fixed setup. Las Vegas Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles, 20-degree banking in the turns. Just over 6 to 8 degrees on the front stretch as a 4-corner tri-oval. You'll see cars cutting that tri-oval every once in a while to get an advantage over the rest of this field. But here we go. Setting on the pole here today, with a 30.800, it's going to be Daniel Molnex in the number 2, starting to the inside of Galen Wunsch in second position. That's row number 1. Working on through this field, Caleb Nelson, your points tied leader, just behind, but he has a start from the pit penalty for missing the driver's meeting, so he will be down pit road, I believe. Well, that's actually Austin Thomas who has to start from pit road, so Caleb Nelson actually going to be up front there. Ronnie Joyner will start to his outside, and then row number 3 goes to Jared Ziegler. Chuck Sweeting in the number 75 will start in 6th. 7th spot, Austin Thomas, Derek McMurtry in 8th, and rounding out the top 10 is Kevin West and Quentin Stewart. 11th spot goes to Dakota Floyd, Joseph Terciano in 12th. 13th, Team Vspeed, Morgan Cook is going to start in 13th with Brent Allen in 14th. Marshall Newton will start in the 15th position. CJ Gates, one win this season at Indianapolis. He's looking to try to capitalize on that. He'll start in the 16th position. 17th, Mike Petrin. Randy Saleh in 18th. 19th, Stephen Mago, Ethan Wisnowski. A couple more rows here of cars as we get set to go green here. Live and on board with your points tied leaders. There's the remainder of this field. Let's get set to go green flag racing for 90 laps here today from Las Vegas. It's QSR Xfinity Series. Problems already for the 57. Jared Ziegler gets sent to the inside wall. Didn't hit anything, but he got knocked completely off the racing groove. We'll have to go back on the instant replay and take a look at that while we have a moment here. Here's the start of this thing. They're going to come down the backstretch. This is going into turn 1 here for Ziegler. Wait and see who made a mistake or if there was any contact, any help. Maybe got loose on his own. Looks like he's okay. He's okay. It was the 199. Galen Wunsch that got down into the 57. Heads up move there by Ziegler to not come back up onto the racetrack there. But as that cycled through, a couple cars in the wall there just behind Morgan Cook. That was Marshall Newton. He clips the wall. He also has Joseph Terciano follow him up there. A lot of spots to gain here for the 57 of Ziegler. He fell all the way back to the 17th position. He's back on the move. Car on the outside did not have a good start. CJ Gates kind of spun the tires there on the outside. And he is now back up to 12th position now after recovering some of those spots lost. Now Las Vegas Motor Speedway produces some good side-by-side action, but it's only going to last for about 15 laps, and then you're going to see the right front tire burn off of this thing. Cars are going to have to adapt their line. That middle line will work, but if you do it too early, you'll burn the right front up. So these guys running the bottom right now that are getting passed on the outside will get those positions back. As you see Ronnie Joyner now back on the offensive. He's saved some of those tires for the first 5 laps. Now he's going to try to pick apart some of these cars. And there's Galen Wunsch to the inside of Caleb Nelson for 3rd. Peek to the inside, not able to make the pass. He's going to look again here. It's actually Ronnie Joyner to the inside of Wunsch. Pass for 4th spot on the board. Still your leader, Daniel Molnex. He's led all 5 laps since the green flag has dropped. About to lead number 6 as no one has contested the lead. Kevin West is up 7 spots from where he began this race, already on the prowl. But did he burn the tires up trying to chase down the lead? On board with the number 1. West to the outside. Gonna pinch Molnex down for the lead here. Does he run out of racetrack? He gets really close to it, but he holds on to it. Contact there for the lead. Just a little touch there that upset the machine. Now Molnex runs him all the way to the outside wide on 4. He's going to maintain and play defense for the lead. Still at the quarter panel for this front position. West did not get a lap led. Looking to pick up a bonus point. Remember, this is the guy that's 3rd in points right now. Daniel Molnex knows that he has to keep this 1 car behind him and mitigate any chance of him leading a lap. But now to the inside in 3 and 4. Kevin West wants it. A pinch contact. Molnex sends the one down to the inside. He's still trying to save it. He'll hold on to it, but he'll fall all the way back to 7th. Back to where he started this race. 3 wide across the tri-oval just behind him. Morgan Cook to the inside. Terciano on the high line. Now cars scatter and fan out. Morgan Cook had to lift out of it. Now CJ Gates is going to try the inside. He almost makes contact with the one of West. A lot of action still going on here as West tries to get back up there. Ronnie Joyner has worked his way to 3rd. A block here from Caleb Nelson down the backstretch. To the inside in 3 and 4. The Superman 00 AC Delco Chevrolet. He has gained 2 positions now. He just got to the 2nd spot here. Trying to get clear of Caleb Nelson here on the inside. We've watched Ronnie Joyner run that bottom better than everyone else, but it looks like that line's starting to fade away a little bit here as Nelson gets a good run. Morgan Cook loose off the exit of turn 2. Still some problems going on back here deeper in the field. Terciano to the outside. This is for the 8th spot. Dakota Floyd has worked up to 8th. This is actually for 9th position. Just inside the top 10, all over each other. Side by side back there with Joseph Terciano, Marshall Newton. 11th position. The racing's still good back here, just outside the top 10. Newton, who started in the 15th position, cannot get clear of Terciano. Quentin Stewart back on the offensive after saving some tires early. He's going to dive to the inside down the backstretch. Got a good run out of turn 2. Now looking inside of Marshall Newton for the 12th position. Stewart, who made the top 13 here for the chase format, not able to get a run out of turn 4 there, and he's going to lose some ground. Now has the 13 of Brent Allen to the inside. So 11th through 15th position, back and forth. The 57 of Ziegler having a rough day here. He is all over the back bumper now of Quentin Stewart. Stewart's offset 3 wide into 3. Race 18 has been a good one thus far. 15 laps complete. As they'll come around out of turn 4 for that 15 mark. And the top 10 have single filed out. Lap 15 is about the mark where that line changes. It's a little bit more difficult to pass. And at this point, you're really going to want to move up the line a little bit. Pray a guy in front of you burned his stuff up. Daniel Monex has led every single lap thus far. He has Ronnie Joyner on his back bumper, though. I'm interested to see if the 00 will try to make a pass for the lead as Caleb Nelson falls back to 3rd. Galen Wunsch has maintained a top 5, but he's down 2 spots after starting on the front row. Chuck Sweeting in the 5th position. Solid week for him last week at Atlanta, and pretty much the same for everyone here in the top 10 at Vegas. They were the top 10 at Atlanta, with the exception of the 57 of Ziegler, who's back up to 12th now, but still down 7 spots. We remember the first lap here, Jared Ziegler got sent down to the inside, was able to save the car, didn't drive it back up into the entry of 3. Live to fight another day here. To the inside of the martial arts of Marshall Newton. This is for 11th position. Ziegler door to door with the 76. Not able to complete the pass, and that's actually gets around the 76. Was looking to the inside of the 14. He was going to get a 2-for-1 there. This is CJ Gates just in front of him. He's going to try to go back to the top 10 here momentarily, but cut the line off there for the 14, giving him some dirty air. Side by side in front of him as well. Morgan Cook looks to the inside of Kevin West. Remember, West had kind of the same similar situation. He was making a pass for the lead, though. Got pinched down by the 2 of Molnix. Sent sideways. Fell back to about the 8th spot. Has not recovered since then. Morgan Cook looks to the inside here. That's the 48 of Derek McMurtry all the way on the outside as Dakota Floyd passes for a 6th place position. And almost some 3 wide there. Kevin West way up the racetrack. Trying to make that outside line work. Laps complete. Daniel Monix, still your leader, side by side for 2nd spot there with Ronnie Joyner and Caleb Nelson. It looks like the middle to high line starting to come into shape as the 00 plays defense for the 2nd spot. Car on the wall back there. That looked like Brent Allen. No, that's going to be the 10 machine, Clayton Nelson. And he's going to bring it down pit road. Morgan Cook able to get clear of Kevin West. He'll work up to the 8th spot now. Jared Ziegler just behind him on the prow. He gets back into the top 10 now. And how about Dakota Floyd up to 6th? They are gaining some time here. A little bit quicker than the car in front of him, Galen Wunsch. Chuck Sweeting last time by was the fastest car on the racetrack with a 32.5. This time around, it's Dakota Floyd with a 32.4. So clean air, super beneficial to these cars, and you can see it here. Dakota Floyd has a nice cushion there in front of him as he starts to chase down the top 5. Side by side for 2nd position again. Ronnie Joyner, Caleb Nelson. 2nd spot up for grabs. Nelson cannot get the pass completed, but he is making Joyner run the outside a little bit higher than he wants to. He's not able to run the exit the way he wants to. And that'll burn his tires up over time. At the bottom again here through 1 and 2. As we slowly accordion this field back together, you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, 6th back to 10th. Slowly working their way closer to this 5th and 6th place. And it's starting to shrink back up here on the gaps. Galen Wunsch at a 10th slower than the cars behind him this time around. On board with Morgan Cook in the 51 machine. Have a lot of driving left to do here for for a lot of these cars, but up 5 spots. He had a solid top 10 there last week. Got 9th at Atlanta. Looking to do the same here tonight at Las Vegas. Ziegler to the inside, side by side for 8th spot. Almost some contact there with the 57. And a little moment there for Morgan Cook. He got loose through 1 and 2. And West falling down positions, back to 11th here. Monex starting to pull away a little bit here for the lead. Caution free since the beginning of this race. No lead changes thus far. Some goose eggs on the top of your screen. It's been a quiet night here for the two. Ronnie Joyner a little bit loose there right in front of Caleb Nelson. Air off the back spoiler. Nelson had to check up, and that puts Chuck Sweeting into a situation that he could get maybe 3 wide there for a moment. The 75 is faster than the 2 cars in front of him, but he has nowhere to go. They keep running side by side. He continues to get the clean air off of the nose there. He's going to get to the outside of Ronnie Joyner, who looks very loose coming out of the exit of 2. Track is transitioning here to cool off. Weather up on your screen. It was a pretty hot track temp to start this race. It has since went down to 94 degrees, started at about 102. The air temperature coming down here in the desert. As the sun goes down, you'll see that track temp start to reflect. And probably by about lap 80, this track should be cooled down enough. You'll see some new names up here in the top 5. Ronnie Joyner falling back. He lost 1 position there to Nelson, and then that caused Chuck Sweeting to get a spot to the inside, looking very loose across the tri-oval. Now Galen Wunsch for the 4th spot, trying to take it away, put him back to 5th. This top 5 has fallen off about 3/10 to the guys behind them. Jared Ziegler, Dakota Floyd, Morgan Cook all running a little bit faster, but have not been able to catch up. They start racing side by side back here, and they lose the ground as the laps continued to tick away here. It's looking more and more like the Daniel Molnick show, just like we saw at Sonoma. Caleb Nelson trying to cancel the program, though. Ring, Plumbing, and Heating, 07 to the outside there. Almost had a run coming out of turn 3. Billy take it down out of turn 4 across the tri-oval. Holding on to it on the back bumper. Staying in the wake. Gonna look to the outside through 1 and 2. This pass for the lead. Gonna back up the corner. Late apex. Not gonna work that time. Gets a little bit loose. Here comes Chuck Sweeting. Started back in 6th. One of the mile-and-a-half experts in this league. Has yet to get a victory here in the QSR Xfinity Series, but he's come really close. And here today at Las Vegas, it's looking like he has a good shot at it. He is able to maintain the speed. On and off pit road will be the next factor that these drivers have to deal with. Looking to see these guys come down around lap 40 to 45. Might have a couple drivers stretch it further than that, but once you have someone in this top 5 come down pit road, that kind of sets everyone else in play. And wow, Daniel Molnick is playing some defense on the exit of turn 4. He is trying to prevent the 07 from getting a bonus point. Right now, Molnick holds all the cards. He got the pole. He's led the most laps so far. He's led all the laps that we've ran in this race, and he's trying to prevent anybody from getting a points advantage or squandering that lead that he's going to take back. That car right behind him, tied in points coming into today. we go again. Dive to the inside into 1 and 2. Pretty single file all through this field. Let's go all the way back to Brent Allen and Joseph Terciano, CJ Gates to find any action. These 3 cars right on top of each other. Kevin West struggling here. Ever since he went for the lead, he's fallen back and hasn't been able to recover. To the inside for Derek McMurtry. 10th spot up for grabs from Kevin West. CJ Gates all over the back bumper of the 48. Almost gets into the back of him. This isn't going to work if these guys keep racing like this. Gates needs to give a little bit more room here. He gets to the inside, but I don't know if it's going to work out if they do that too many more times. Caleb Nelson is able to make a pass for the lead here. We'll take a look on the instant replay. He was able to get around the 2 of Daniel Monex here on about lap 37. So Daniel Monex not able to prevent Caleb Nelson. Actually, contact there. He didn't know where the 07 was on the racetrack. To back that up one more time here. You see the 07 disappears and Daniel Monex has no clue where he is. Now Nelson takes over the point. At the halfway mark, Nelson, Monex, Sweeting, Joyner, Wunsch, Floyd, Ziegler, Cook, Newton, and Gates for the top 10. Still all 22 cars out on this racetrack. Played Nelson 15 laps down here for the number 10. Struggling on the handling a little bit here for the 10 machine, but trying to work his way back up through the field. Lap after lap here. As we approach pit stop time. Who's going to be the first car down pit road? We got a few takers already. Quentin Stewart hits the pit box. 24 down and away. Joseph Terciano also hit the pit road. Derek McMurtry, Kevin West. Here comes Marshall Newton now. For service, here's Morgan Cook on pit road as well. Austin Thomas looks like he had 4.3 in the box, so I'm not sure if that was intentional or not for the 20 machine. Looked like a fuel-only stop there for Austin Thomas. Here, Morgan Cook down and away. Marshall Newton. Morgan Cook ends up losing positions on pit road. Let's have to go back and see what happened to him. Sure if he had a bad entry to pit road. Got a little slide there. Able to hold on to it, but did lose a lot of ground to Marshall Newton. So time lost for the number 51. He'll be back in the 17th position, 1 lap down, as the rest of the top 10 have yet to come down pit road. We have Nelson, Monex, Sweeting, Joyner, Wunsch in the top 5. Ziegler has worked his way back up here to the 6th position, and I'm interested to see if he gets back up there to Galen Wunsch, if we'll see any fireworks. And it looks like teammates going to pit together here. 07 is down pit road now. Caleb Nelson in. That'll give the lead back to Daniel Monex. So we ride on board with him. 2 machine down the back stretch. Will he come down pit road this time by? As Chuck Sweeting all over the back bumper. Has not called out his pit just yet. Looks like he'll go all the way to the halfway mark at lap 45. Ziegler and Nelson still down pit road. As you can see there, coming across the tri-oval for Molnex. As soon as they hit back out on the racetrack, I'm sure you're going to see that 2-car peel down. A1 speed on the number 2. Still no call out here from Daniel Molnex. Morgan Cook able to get around Jared Ziegler. Caleb Nelson a little bit further up the road here ahead of Kevin West. Kevin West pitted a little bit sooner than a couple of the cars in front of him. I'll have to wait and see if the 1 car has anything for the 07. It looks like Ethan Wisnowski down and out for service. Coming out of the exit of turn 2 here down the backstretch. The 5-car back out on the racetrack. Currently 1 lap down in 19th position. Mike Petrin down to his stall. Down and away for this S60 machine. So we all cycle through for pit stops. Still have a handful of cars as Steve Mongo comes down to his stall. Service on the 83 machine. Dakota Floyd still out there on the racetrack. Ronnie Joyner, Chuck Sweeting. Here comes Molnex. Molnex has led 41 laps. He needs to lead 4 or 5. I would say 5 more would guarantee it here. I think he's got it pretty locked up, though, because Chuck Sweeting's out there leading some laps now. This should lock up the most laps led for the number 2 machine. Chuck Sweeting staying out a couple more laps compared to the rest of this field. He'll get a lap led now, 2 of them. How much further do you want to push this thing? He has Dakota Floyd just behind him there. Floyd last time by 0.2 faster out there on the racetrack. And now the 75 will come down pit road. That will hand the lead over to Dakota Floyd, who's going to get his first lap led and the QSR Xfinity Series. To see the 11, the last car on the racetrack, who has not hit pit road, and he has a whole mess of cars behind him here. Contact between West and the 57 of Ziegler. This is for the race lead, and contact again. The 1 car's around. Kevin West sideways, the 76 of Marshall Newton. They all save it somehow. Wow. Here's the contact between the 57. He gets right into the back of him. Let's go back a little bit further. Here's some initial contact beforehand. As we'll go onto the blimp camera. They make contact down the back stretch. The 1 of West just cuts the nose clean off at the 57 of Ziegler, and he did not like that at all. Full on retaliation here going into 3. Moves the 1 up the racetrack. Morgan Cook gets into the side of the 76 unintentionally. Back to a live shot here. Dakota Floyd now down pit road. He's down and away. But the top 3 has changed hands. Morgan Cook now in the mix. Daniel Molnex, who's got about 5 lap fresher tires than the rest of the cars up here in the top 3. Gonna have to try to chase him down. Back here side by side with Molnex, going to the inside of Derek McMurtry, working back towards the top 5. And we have a yellow flag out there on the racetrack. Kevin West is around down the back stretch. Inside wall contact, looks like the right front damaged on that machine. That changes everything here through the field. up next to the outside wall here. West getting very loose, slides up into the outside wall. And it looks like the 24 of Quentin Stewart just gets a piece of that. Back it up one more time here. I'm not sure if he got loose because he was up near that cushion or not. We'll go one more time here on the gyro camera, but you can see this car start to snap free. It looks like that outside line just not working for the one of West. Bounces the wall, brings out our first yellow. It looks like everybody decides to come down pit road. Dakota Floyd stays out on the racetrack. And a couple two-tire calls, it looks like. Maybe some guys topping off with fuel. Morgan Cook lost some positions there somehow. Not entirely sure what happened there. Four-tire stop for the 51. Came into third in the pits here. But here's your race off of pit road, and it was tight. So back onto a level playing field here. Dakota Floyd, your leader. The lights will go out on the pace track. We're going to take a quick commercial break, though. Get everything cycled back through. You're watching the QSR Xfinity Series live on Vspeed. More coverage will continue right after this.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Back here live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, QSR Xfinity Series. They have ran halfway through this race. One caution here today. Kevin West got loose on the outside of turn 1 and 2. Snapped it sideways down the backstretch. A little bit of damage for both him and Quentin Stewart as we get set to go back green here. Dakota Floyd has taken over the point. He'll be your leader to set this thing off for the second half. 56 laps will be completed. We'll go back green here on lap 57 as the pace truck will be pulling off. So far, we've had a multitude of leaders between Dakota Floyd, Caleb Nelson, Daniel Monex leading the most laps, and Chuck Sweeting getting the lap led there as well. As we get set to go back green for the second time today. Your host, Bradley Cooper. By the way, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, we have one race left after this at Kansas Speedway to crown our champion for the QSR Xfinity Series in their inaugural season. So we hope you can join us for that as well at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. But here, back to a live shot, getting set to go green. Dakota Floyd into the restart zone, onto the loud pedal, and down and away for the number 11. Back to lead lap 57. Dakota Floyd pulls out ahead of Galen Wunsch and the 07 of Nelson. He has a solid 0.3 of a second here back to the 07, trying to pass. Galen Wunsch on the inside cannot get clear of him. Side by side for the second position. There was even more side by side deeper in this field as well. Morgan Cook, Brent Allen. Side by side on the outside for the 13. Like some damage being repaired for Quentin Stewart in the 24. He's down pit road here. Cars in the wall. The 5. Marshall Newton involved. Everyone fans out down the backstretch. That was the Ethan Wisnowski. It got into the outside wall. Wisnowski falls back. He's still up 5 spots, but this car is handling poorly. He's sideways here. Looks like he might have taken 2 tires. He falls back even more here. He might be bringing it down pit road. Heavy rear end damage on that machine. Caleb Nelson falls back to the 4th spot here. Chuck Sweeting looks like maybe he took 2 tires to try to chase these guys down in front of him. On board with the 75. 9.1 in the box. It looks like 2 tires might be the secret for the 75 team. Here's Ziegler, Caleb Nelson falling back a little bit here. Ronnie Joyner, Daniel Molnix, Morgan Cook just inside the top 10. Side by side just behind him, Brent Allen. CJ Gates for the 10th spot. Just inside the top 10. They're going to go into turn 3. Gates will get clear. Going to set his sights on the 51 now as they come out of turn 4. Contact between the 2 cars. The 5's in the 14's in the wall. And he's probably not very happy with Morgan Cook on that move. Morgan Cook was up there in the top 3 just before that caution came down pit road, lost 3 spots on the pit stop, then lost 3 more on the restart. He's back to 9th here. Derek McMurtry has recovered his race. Daniel Molnix is trying to get back to the lead. He's got 2 cars in front of him, though, that he's going to have to contest with, and they're side by side for 2nd position. Chuck Sweeting to the outside of Galen Wunsch. He'll get clear and try to go after the leader, Dakota Floyd. Castro, number 11, has a half a second lead here. Not using as much of the racetrack on the exit of turn 4 as Chuck Sweeting and Galen Wunsch. The clean air is beneficial to these Xfinity cars. The number 11 Toyota Supra glued to the bottom of that racetrack as he maintains that half a second gap back to the 75 of Sweeting. Floyd, Sweeting, Wunsch, Nelson, Ziegler, Molnex, McMurtry, Joyner, Cook, and Allen for the top 10. Austin Thomas trying to get by the 13 here for the top 10 position. Car off the racetrack. That's the 2 of Daniel Molnex, your points leader, off the racetrack. Off the tri-oval, loses 10 spots. All the way back to 15. He was to the inside of the 57. They make contact. They make more contact. Not sure if it snapped free there for the 2 car or not. On board with Molnex. He's pinched down here on the bottom. They make initial contact. Molnex just trying to hold on to it after that. Back to a live shot there. Ziegler and Nelson not making any friends out here on the racetrack, I'm sure of it. Interested to see if anything retaliation-wise comes of this. Molnex all the way back to 15th. He needs a caution to get caught back up to this thing. Dakota Floyd's still your leader, but it's under threat now, down to under 2/10. The 75 of Sweeting has caught up to the 11. We might see a side-by-side battle here just momentarily with 20 laps to go. Sweeting could get his first win in the Xfinity Series, as could Dakota Floyd. The gamble to stay out here. 3-lap older tires. He stretched that run out a little bit further than everyone else. Had some heat in those tires to take away a half a second lead. But since then, starting to fall off a little bit here. On lap 71, coming up for 72. Boyd has maintained the lead now for 20 laps as he crosses the stripe, giving some dirty air to the 75 of Chuck Sweeting now as they come across the line. Derek McMurtry. Side by side. Looks like the 00 gets by. Ronnie Joyner going after the 57 of Ziegler. I think the action is about to get really good. We have some beef out here on the racetrack, as Jake Reeves would say. And the 57 of Ziegler has a teammate to the 2 of Molnex just behind him here. Last time by, even on the lap times. Ronnie Joyner doing everything he can to get to the back bumper of this 57. Chuck Sweeting got into that dirty air, lost a little bit of time to Dakota Floyd. Now we're shaping up for maybe some side-by-side behind him here. As you can see, Morgan Cook going to the outside of Derek McMurtry for the 7th spot. He will go by cleanly on the outside, completes the pass. .00 of Ronnie Joyner is making up ground on Ziegler right now. He's going to peek to the inside. Side by side into 1 and 2. Ziegler on the high line. Gonna pull away. Gets the exit speed. That high line has been notorious for that all day long. Here comes Caleb Nelson for 3rd spot. Now on the rebound with 15 laps to go. He has to get around Galen Wunsch, who's on the high line here for 3rd. Wunsch gonna hold him up a little bit here. Not quite clear, and there he goes. Now up to 3rd spot, Chuck Sweeting back on offense. He is shaved back down to 2/10. He knows that Nelson's on his way. Will he have enough time, though? If these two get racing side by side in front of the 07, it could get a little dicey, I think. 07 would absolutely take them 3 wide. We've seen him do it a couple of times here today. This race is getting better and better with every lap. So Quentin Stewart is on pit road. He looks like he's done for the day. I think what we'll do here, I think we're going to pull the 24 of Quentin Stewart into the broadcast booth. And Quentin, I mean, I know you had some problems there down the backstretch, not of anything of your doing. It was, I believe, West up on the outside wall, spun around the backstretch, but you're sitting on pit road. I know this race has been good, though, so far for a lot of these guys. It's been action-packed. What's your take here for the second to last race in the Xfinity Series?
Man, there's been so much beef out there on the track, man. But you know, it was unfortunate for my race to end early tonight. Definitely wasn't happy to see that. But you know, it's just one of those things where it's something that's out of your control, unfortunately. But we had a fast car tonight, qualified top 10. Thought we were gonna have a good run, but just didn't go our way tonight. But it's been a good one, man. It's been a good one.
It looks like Daniel Molnick's also off the racetrack as well, and Clay Nelson parked it for the night. Kevin West. So a lot of the guys that are up here in these playoffs for this chase format are out of this race, and you've got 2 non-chase contenders up here leading this thing.
Yeah, it's really making it interesting. I'm really interested with what's going to happen with Ziegler and Joyner right there close to each other.
Yeah.
You know, they're both related to the beef, so
yeah.
I'm interested to see what happens with them being close here with the end of the race coming up. So.
Yeah, and you got to factor in here that the laps led tied up there by Daniel Molnick, but he's going to get an 18th place finish, so that's most likely going to hand the points lead over to Caleb Nelson, who's currently in 3rd, and then you have Jared Ziegler and Ronnie Joyner going side by side. They're top 5 in the points. They're just about to duke it out. So if something happens here with the 57 and the 00, I just hope the Team Vspeed car that's behind this doesn't get involved with it, because he could stand to gain something. I mean, my bias is showing right now a little bit. Car on the wall, 57 gets ran up the racetrack on the exit of 2. There's a spot maybe for Morgan Cook. Oh, a pinch down here in 3 and 4, though. I tell you, Quentin, it's been good, though. I mean, there's 10 laps left. A lot of action left to be seen.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's been great to watch it with you guys from pit lane. Oh, see? Oh, my God.
A little check up there into 1. I thought he was going to snap free. Shark smelling blood in the water, maybe a little bit here. Morgan Cook trying to figure out a way around the 57 machine. This is for the 6th spot rather. The battle for the lead starting to heat up a little bit. 3-way battle between Caleb Nelson, Chuck Sweeting, Dakota Floyd passing the 1 machine of Kevin West. Dakota Floyd could get his first win here in the Xfinity Series and his 3rd start, I believe. Caleb Nelson here to the inside, almost 3 wide there with the lap down car in the 1. But you know there's beef between him and the 07 of Nelson from earlier in this race as Kevin West was trying to pass for the lead. It doesn't look like they're quite over it just yet, as West is racing very aggressively here with the top 5. He's going to do everything he can to prevent this 07 from getting up here and getting the lead. The monikers of what is aggressive and what is too much here. Floyd pulls back out to half a second with 6 laps left. Sweeting has his hands full with Caleb Nelson. Galen Wunsch back on the back bumper. Caleb Nelson blinks out there briefly for a moment. But back on offense for the 199. He's trying to get a podium for the second time here in the playoffs. Peeks to the inside. Nothing there. Can't hold it down enough to get back on the throttle. Right side tires are all spent here for the top 5. Morgan Cook does get clear of the 57. Ronnie Joyner trying to chase down. Here he goes to the inside of Kevin West. 5 laps left as they cross the stripe. Out of turn 2. Looks like West is going to let him by. The top 10 all the way back. The CJ Gates, who has recovered back up here to 10th position. Trying to earn a top 10 after having several moments here tonight. Derek McMurtry in the 9th spot. Brent Allen as high as 8th. Highest position here for the 13 tonight. And there's some more side-by-side as the 51 goes by Kevin West. Looks like a 6th place finish possibly here for Morgan Cook. Dakota Floyd has this thing almost wrapped up. 3 laps to go for the 11. Changing his line here. Defense back there for Chuck Sweeting. 2/10, shaving down. Last time by, a 10th faster for Sweeting. Sweeting's going to get a big run here out of turn 2. Actually had the lift. Thought he was going to get a run, but he had the lift out of the throttle. He slid up towards that outside wall a little sooner than he wanted to. Pushes it through 3 and 4. Uses all of the racetrack, but Floyd giving him that dirty air keeps him at bay for 3/10. 2 laps to go now. Sweeting going to try something else. Works the middle here through 1 and 2. Floyd hangs out the right rear, really leaning on that car to keep it up front. White flag this time by. Dives to the bottom in 3 and 4. Clean air on the nose, going to use all the racetrack on the exit. Down to 1/10. Caleb Nelson cannot hang with the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. Can Dakota Floyd hold him off and get the victory? White flag in the air now for QSR's second to last race. 3rd race in the chase. Dakota Floyd looking for his first win. Chuck Sweeting, 2 non-playoff drivers up here in the top 3. Galen Wunsch tags the wall. The 07 has nothing for him as they come through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Dakota Floyd holds on. One more time out of turn 4. Dakota Floyd is going to be victorious in his 3rd ever start in the QSR Xfinity Series. Ronnie Joyner gets around. Galen Wunsch had him at stake coming out of turn 4. We'll have to go back and see that. It looked like Ronnie Joyner's going to pick up another spot here. But Dakota Floyd is victorious. We've seen him win here on Vspeed before, but never on QSR. And here he is to burn it down on the front stretch. Post-race interviews with your top 3. A new name into victory lane and into the record books here for QSR. Final results as we take a quick commercial break. You're watching the QSR Xfinity Series live from Las Vegas. More coverage continues on Vspeed right after this.
Just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Here live from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the QSR Xfinity Series has concluded their 90 laps here today in the desert of Nevada. It was a good race, but I tell you what, a lot of beef came out of this one. A lot of guys ready to choke each other. I think there's some fights down there in the post-race. I'm interested to see what comes of this in the general chat, but here's the final results up on your screen. Dakota Floyd in his third ever start here at QSR. He's going to be victorious. Chuck Sweeting with another podium finish. Just shy of the win here for the number 75. New points leader, Caleb Nelson, is going to be third here tonight. Ronnie Joyner in fourth. Galen Wunsch makes a mistake out of turn 4, falls back to 5th. Morgan Cook gets a 6th place finish. Brent Allen, 7th here tonight, with Jared Ziegler falling back to 8th. Derek McMurtry, 9th here today. CJ Gates will get a top 10. Looks like Austin Thomas will come home in 11th spot with Joseph Terciano in 12th, Steve Magot in 13th, Randy Solly 14th. Mike Petrin comes home in the top 15 with Frank Walsh in 16th. Marshall Newton, tough day for him. He lost a lot of spots up and down, in and out of the top 10, but he falls back to 17th. And another guy that just probably the worst day imaginable for Daniel Molnex. He was your points leader, tied for the points lead coming into today. Led the most laps, started on the pole, but he'll get 18th here after it's all said and done. Kevin West, another driver that was in the top 3 in points coming into tonight, gets 19th, and Ethan Wisnowski will round out your top 20. Quentin Stewart, tough day. We talked to him there a little bit just before the end of this race, 21st spot. Looks like Clay Nelson will finish 22nd. Chris Nail did not have a good day as well. He will finish 93 laps down, and looks like Wyatt Walker electing to not even take the racetrack. So 22, 23 cars maybe start this race, but looks like we're going to have about 19 of them, 17 of them rather, when it's all said and done. Well, that takes us for our 6 lead changes and our 1 caution here today. That'll take us to our post-race interviews, and we have a lot of them down here. First one up on the docket, it's our 3rd place finisher, Caleb Nelson. Now, Caleb, I know that there was some the wrong button there. Muscle memory, it got the best of me, but I know there was some beef out there. There was a lot of door banging. There was a lot of guys that were hungry for spots. And then we had that late caution there with Kevin West that put you kind of back deeper in the field. Did you feel like if that caution didn't come out, you were going to win this thing?
It would have been hard to throw it away. I'll say I had driven up to the front before we pit. Daniel and I, we raced hard, and Ronnie, for that matter, we raced hard. We touched just a couple of times. Daniel, I was on the outside of him, got a 2. We touched, got the wall. I think, I can't be certain, but I think he caught the wall at a 2 trying to go to the outside, but finally got to the lead and was setting sail a little bit. And I think if we didn't get that, I was just saving my stuff, just riding for those final laps. And to be honest with you, I hadn't practiced at all for nighttime. I thought we would stay in the afternoon, and I just wasn't prepared for that final run to be so dark, and I tried saving too much.
Well, the track had significantly cooled off as well. I know we started somewhere around 100 degrees and it worked its way down to around the 90-degree mark. Um, did that? Do you feel like that maybe affected the handling of this car, or was it just that caution? What was the combination of things that put you kind of deeper in this field?
Well, I had pit and came out second. We didn't get the best restart and lost a couple spots there. So that's straight up on me. But the wind going into turn three was, I think that's what was making us really tight going into three. So it was hard to complete a pass. You could do anything you wanted in one and two, set somebody up, but completing it in three was a nightmare. So track position at the end of that race was very key.
I agree with that. I mean, we saw a lot of guys here tonight. Chuck Sweeting, who had chased down Dakota Floyd. You chased it down, Chuck. I mean, as soon as you got to that 2/10 of a second bubble, it was almost like the car just didn't turn into the corner anymore.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. You could back up your corner even and get it turned to the bottom, but the person in front of you did the exact same thing. So you're not making any ground, you're not losing any ground. It was frustrating, but early in the race when we had a little bit of heat, I think a little less wind too. Daniel, Ronnie, and we were up front, sideways, passing each other. It was a good battle. So I would say, that was kind of the highlight of the race. The second half after that yellow was, I feel like once you got in where you were in position, that's where you were going to finish. It was going to be really hard to pass.
Well, you get another podium. You should have the points lead. You were tied coming into today. A tough break for Daniel Molnex, finishing 18th, so that should take you into Kansas with the lead. How confident are you at that racetrack and locking this championship up possibly?
Uh, I try not to get ever confident. I was uh, optimistic coming into Vegas, being my best mile and a half. Performed okay, but Kansas is it's a crapshoot. I haven't raced there since they changed the damage model tires to the Xfinity cars. So last time I was there, we were all running the wall. So it's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve, but we'll see. Hopefully we can wrap it up next week and come out of here with a nice little title.
The last time QSR Xfinity Series was there, it was wall riding, but it was a much cooler track. So interesting to see with the weather changes and the tire models and all the updates and the DDoSes and the 1001 other variables that we have here on the iRacing service. Good luck, Caleb Nelson, and anybody you'd like to thank for tonight's race.
Yeah, I gotta thank you guys putting on this broadcast. It's great. I always love going and watch that back. QSR putting the series up. My teammates, Jared Ziegler and Marshall Newton. I know Marshall had a rough night tonight, so he didn't get the finish that he had deserved. But gotta shout out the teammates and everybody here. Daniel and Ronnie, we had a hell of a first stint. It was a lot of fun. So thanks to those guys for running it clean, just a couple of touches, and we'll move on to next week.
Caleb Nelson, third place, another podium here after last week and the week before, putting it all together. We look forward to seeing you at Kansas for the final race.
Thanks.
That brings us to our second place finisher, Chuck Sweeting in the 75. Chuck, it's been a minute since I've talked to you, but solid day out here. I watch you race at SNR. I watch you race in the Oil Cup. I watch you race a number of different places, and it always seems like the 75 just has a, I don't know, a chip on your shoulder, some bad luck. I don't know what it is, but here tonight you put it all together, almost victorious.
Yeah, I just tried to be consistent and not be aggressive and go after those guys the first half of the race, and then the last half there, I did everything I could to put pressure on Dakota, but he never put the wheel wrong, so had to settle for second. But yeah, I'm starting to learn this league. This is only my third or fourth race with him, I think, and starting to get a little bit more consistent and really starting to enjoy these guys. They are some really competitive drivers out here, so it's been a lot of fun.
Very competitive, very aggressive, and I mean, for the most part, it's pretty clean in here. One caution here today. Chuck, the transition of this racetrack when we started with a lot hotter temperatures, a little more wind. Racetrack changed there as the evening fell. Did you feel like the car was coming to you as that race progressed, or was it just a matter of that caution that put you in a better pit cycle and better position?
Yeah, I don't. The caution kind of fell at an odd time. I only had like 2 laps on my tires, but I went in and got right sides anyway because I struggled with being a little bit tight that first run. And then I definitely felt the track change, and the car actually felt looser to me that last run. It may have been
Two
because we
tires
had,
stop, you think?
yeah, maybe that and lower fuel. I'm not sure. Plus, I was just driving a little bit harder, so. But the track definitely changed. But that wind we were fighting that wind all night. It was made the car really tight in 3 and 4, at least entering 3 and 4, and then it starts snapping loose on exit. So it was a struggle tonight. But this track usually is that way, so it was fun.
Well, you get a podium here, and would like to see you come back for the next season, get a yellow banner on that machine. You're putting together some solid finishes here in the late season where guys that are competing for the championship should be up front here. You guys dominated the second half of this race. Chuck, I know you're familiar with chasing that 11 car or being ahead of them, but anybody you got to shout out for tonight's performance?
Just thanks to the league for letting me in, and thanks to the drivers for racing me with clean with respect and all that. And I am looking forward to. I'm coming back for the next season, and maybe we can give them some competition for the big trophy at the end of the season. We'll see.
We look forward to it. Hope to see you at Kansas as well. Chuck Sweeting, another podium here on Vspeed, and in his third race at Xfinity Series, he gets a second place finish. Thank you for your time, buddy.
All right, thanks a lot, Brett.
That finally brings us to our victor, and I did not expect to talk to this guy in victory lane so soon. I know you were just starting to get your bearings in the QSR Xfinity Series, but here you are, Dakota Floyd, up in the booth. Victory, I don't know what to say to you right now other than congratulations. And what does this mean for the next time that Xfinity cars come here to QSR?
Well, I'll tell you what, I hit the lottery. My Powerball numbers, they hit right on the spot because when I hit pit road and that yellow came out and I didn't even put a lap in my tires, it set me up in a really good position. But you know what? I think I might be coming back, whenever they decide to start the next season. But this, for the most part, it's a good group of guys, hard racing, fun racing. I think we've got a future here.
Tom's Castrol Toyota Supra looked really fast in that clean air. Starting back in the 11th position, you had a lot of cars to get around and kind of used up the tires. I think it was the same product that Chuck Sweeting was dealing with, and I'll ask your opinion. That bubble of about 2/10. How hard was it to get around guys tonight?
It varied because with the track being holding temperature, and it was just the way it was starting to race, especially with the wind on the track. It just the car was different in both sets of corners, and it was really hard to attack. And times just stopped falling off at a certain point, so you just really had to fill the guy's mirror up in front of you and hope they made a mistake. Honestly.
And this is your third event, correct? I think I quoted that right. Third or fourth? I know you've been here a time or two, but to come out here and get a victory to solidify that you're one of the guys that's fast out here, how does that feel?
Feels great. It feels really good, honestly, and the fact that I was able to hold those guys off for that last whole run. But you were right. This is my third race because I did Atlanta, Sonoma, and then this is the race number 3 for me.
Well, there you go. I announced it properly. I don't always have the statistics in front of me. I just try to recollect and shout things out, even if they're incorrect. But Dakota Floyd, congratulations on being victorious. Maybe give some secrets to Morgan Cook next time so we can get that V-Speed car up in the lead. But anybody you'd like to thank or shout out for tonight's win?
Well, I definitely shout out the league and everybody in the field. It was great, clean racing for most of the race, and I couldn't ask for anything better. Only one yellow, so awesome racing. Shout out to you in the broadcast booth and putting on great broadcasts as always. Can always look forward to go back and check this one out, see how it panned out from your perspective, and shout out to everyone watching. Without fans watching the broadcast, it's there's no show to put on. So shout out to all you guys, and shout out to the team, Orange Speed guys at 16-1, and shout out to Morgan. And I know he wished he had a better finish, but I heard it was a good points day, so good for him. And shout out to my girlfriend for always supporting me on the track.
Well, that's Dakota Floyd, victorious. Not a yellow banner on the front for the top two. They prevent Caleb Nelson from getting another win and add themselves to the record books here, QSR Xfinity Series. Thank you for your time, Dakota.
Thank you, Coop.
And that will do it for us here from the QSR Xfinity Series at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast here on Vspeed. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'll try to learn what buttons to push on my stream deck so we don't miss any of the action. And that'll do it for me up here in the broadcast booth. Jake Reeves, shout out to you. I don't know if you go back and watch these things. I assume you do because Venom Motorsports, a lot of beef here tonight. Ronnie Joyner, the highest finisher. He finished 4th here today. But this is Bradley Cooper telling you to have a great rest of your week. For Adam Baker, Quentin Stewart, and everybody involved, take care, everybody. We'll see you next week, 8 p.m. Eastern Time at Kansas.